to talk about like the geographical areas on many of these dictate what the exit strategy could be. So a really good, like I said, a good A and B class neighborhood, good strong home occupied homeowner properties are what you're going to be looking for as a good, fix and flip strategy. It's going to have, a good ARV. It's hard to flip houses that, when they're all said and done are worth $75,000. It's just not enough meat on the bone. They can make great rentals at times, but, most oftentimes they're not going to be great, a good price point to be flipping houses. One thing to really keep in mind as you're filtering through some of these exit strategies, and so the flip strategy, really nail in your buy box. So I just mentioned like a $75,000 neighborhood house that's, worth 75K when it's all said and done is going to be, unless you're buying it for like pennies, it's going to be a little bit harder to execute that strategy in that type of price point. So really dial in your buy box. And what I mean by that is, what are your bread and butter neighborhoods that you like, that you understand are a good investment for a fix and flip, the level of rehab that you're comfortable doing. I've talked to plenty of people recently about really cautioning taking the huge leap on like a really heavy rehab early on, and when you're first 1, 2, or 5 deals or something like that. So really dial in your buy box. That's really important, and that'll mitigate a lot of, for instance, buying something that needs a full gut rehab. Your flip strategy is your only strategy or your main strategy, and then whammo, you've come into a disastrous rehab that's taking forever, and it's hard to outwork a bad buy box purchase. Now we're going to talk about what the other exit strategies could be if you do get into that. For instance, I'm a fan of rent to own in some of those scenarios, and we'll talk about what the RTO or land contract looks like. But so my phone off. Some of the questions you really need to be asking, like on this strategy, is can you get this done quickly? I'm a huge fan of 90 or 100-day turnaround. Your rehab should definitely be under 90 days. When I say 90, 100-day turnaround, I mean purchase, rehab, list it. You've got 30-day traditional closing. Those types of scenarios are going to be your ideal. I was actually watching a show last night, and this is a big house flipping show or whatever. And they're in a totally different market with heavy regulation, but they talk about 6 to 10 months for their flips, and they calculate up their holding costs, and it's astronomical. I mean, it's just crazy that they're paying 100, 120K in holding costs and loan costs. It's just stupid. So can you buy and renovate this and get it done in 90 or 100 days? Do you have the bandwidth to do it? That's a big mistake I see a lot of people make, is they'll jump in with cousin Eddie and Uncle Earl as their contractors, and they don't have the team in place to execute this. So you don't want to kid yourself when you're fixing and flipping a house and looking for maximum price points. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a good team.